welcome back to the channel. Tony here. So we've been doing some modifications on the CRF300L. This is a 2022 model with ABS. So I decided to re-gear it because the gearing was too high for what I like for dirt riding. So I went ahead and got this aluminum sprocket, which also reduces the rotationary weight. So then I got myself an X-ring chain so that also adds less resistance. So you can see this is the rollout of the tire. Without the chain, it rolls pretty good. This is a brand new chain, so it hasn't broken in or anything like that. But I did this because I wanted more torque, and I felt that the gearing was too high and I was constantly holding the bike wide open. So we'll see how that works. We got the pegs, so we went ahead and got the pivot pegs. I really like those. We got a aftermarket shifter, and I did this extension here because with my big MX boots I kept missing this. I'm shifting like this because I don't have the feel. So I put this on. We'll see how that works. I added a USB right here, so that gives me voltage and it gives me 2 ports. I did do the Tusk. That's the Tusk skid plate. I have the Tusk here, and I did these extensions. I have one more of these coming, which I'm going to put on top of this, because it's literally, the bike just sits so awkwardly towards the kickstand that it's hard to get on it that way. So I'm going to bump this up to right about here. We'll see how that works. So that's coming. I did the Denali. So I had the Denali power hub, so that controls my lights and any accessories, my USBs, and everything is all controlled through here. Come up to the dash. I have a custom mount I made here. So I have the handlebar risers with the fat tapered. These are CR curve. But this you can't mount onto here. But when you add the riser, so I put a riser here to rise it up a little bit. So with the riser, you can't mount this bracket right here. It's for my dash. So I made this one, and then here I put my telemetry for my tires. I got everything for my phone, my cameras. This is really convenient. I got my Garmin, and then these two. This one here is a voltmeter. Let's take a look. So that's my voltmeter, and then the other one is temperature. So it's giving me the engine temp, and it also has time on it too. So I can. So that's my high temperature. It's 256. So it's got, you know, the time and so on. I did do the Zeta, what do you call these things? The crash bars for the handlebars. I'm losing my mind. Anyways, I got the Zeta with the blinker. So this is pretty cool. So this gives me, my blinker here. So I got rid of my blinker, and then I have my lights here. These are my, and I also did the Cyclops LED. So that's the Cyclops LED, and I have my Baja design. These are the sport ones. So this is my windscreen. Windscreen's just to protect my gear and so on. Camera mount. Again, and I have the Bark Busters from Zeta, the ram-mounted mirrors. Let's see what else. Haven't really done much more to the bike physically, except I did change out the front spring, and I did change out the shock. So I do have a, what is that? A K-Tech shock. Yeah, K-Tech shock and a K-Tech spring up front. This is for my trailer mounts. I modified that, so now it has a really hard brass bushing instead of the other ones that were compressing, the mushroom ones. they were cracking and compressing. So I went ahead and went with the, for this mission, I went with the D Sport from Tusk. You know, it's $130 for a set of tires. And this is a 90 instead of an 80, so it's a little fatter, little taller. And that's the other reason for the upgrade on the sprocket. Now I do have a SpeedHealer on here, which I highly recommend. It's really, really nice, easy to set up, pain in the ass to install, but easy to set up. And then I have my tail tidy, so you can see I don't have any blinkers except for this integrated blinker with my brake light. And let's see, what else do we have? I do have a rack, which we'll put that on here soon. And I do have a seat concept, but I wanted to show you the Denali, so we'll go ahead and put that on, put the rack on and everything. And then we're going to be ready to take this thing out for a test ride and see how the SpeedHealer worked. Oh, I also put, that's right, we did show that up there, but I have a temperature sensor right here that I put in, and that sensor is the Trail Tech sensor right here. So that gives me my engine temp. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? I think that's about it. Oh, I do put these on. You absolutely got to have those. Those are your boots. They keep your seals nice and clean from dirt. I can't think of it. Oh, okay, so a modification. So being I was putting this larger sprocket, I had to move this forward this much right here, so you can see, and I didn't put a bolt in here because there's not a lot of room, and I just don't think it's needed. It's locked in here with this ledge. It can't go anywhere. I made a bushing right here for the space right there, and then I'm going to get an aftermarket one, probably a Zeta or something really nice, but this really gives makes this useful for right now, at least for this mission. Let's see, what else have we done? So I have the 14 too. So originally I put a 12 on there with the stock rear, and I wanted to see how that was, and I absolutely loved it. So I went ahead and put back the 14 on here, got the chain, the X chain, and then I got this 48 sprocket. So 46 would have been the equivalent of what I had, but I went 2 more. And that's simply because of the tire. It's a bigger tire, it's taller, it's beefier, and I still wanted that more, you know, the second gear is what I use to start and go with. I don't only use first gear as a crawler. So if I'm in a situation where I really have like crawl up out of a hill, because I will have a trailer. So the trailer's sitting over there, and I'm gonna fit that next. But yeah, so the way that I adjusted because obviously the chain adjustments are not going to work here for this one. I mean, they may, but what I do is I disconnect the link down here. I pull this one, and I pull this one, and then what I do is I raise the swing arm until it's straight across at its most tension. And then I tighten in the chain, and then I calibrate it with my chain monkey, which is sitting over there. So then I'll go ahead and calibrate that. So then, you know, that way I know exactly what it is. So I can take a measurement, you know, and it's pretty much, once it touches right here, it's pretty tight. You know, so, and then once I did get the chain set and calibrated, I just lifted it up and down, and it was fine. It was not binding. It wasn't, you know, too loose in the mid-range. So that's the best way when you're putting a new setup to do that, is just go ahead and take that link out, and then that way you can bring this up through its full travel. Oh, I did do something on the rear brake, so we'll take a look at that. So I did put this this aftermarket one, and it gives me a little bit more, and I put this little extender on it because I wanted to move this out a little bit because it was just too close for me. And then I have my safety wire right here, so that if I do catch on here, it's not going to bend it all the way back. I went ahead and got the Zeta fill because I just don't like those plastic ones. I've heard they come off. So that's really about it. I did make these custom mounts for for my Bajas. So this is where the blinkers were, and I just went ahead and turned this down, drilled it out, made some bushings, and attached to here. There's a screw back here threaded into this. So that's that. And then the Zeta, so I prefer mounting the Barkbusters handguards to the triple clamp, because it's better than mounting it over here. I had to mount it up here, but I just didn't like it. And this thing's not moving. So that's pretty good. And I have a custom mount here that I made for my quad lock, because I don't like putting it on a ram because it doesn't give you a lot of flexibility. Here I have the flexibility to mount this wherever I want, and it's just buddying up with the GoPro mount there for the camera. This is for my heated gear, so I do have heated gear hooked up to the Denali. So if I want to wear a heated vest or a heated jacket or whatever, I do have heat. I do have a USB right here, so this will operate some of the cameras up here, and also, you know, my phone. What else? I think that's about it. You know, this you can buy this unit right here from Zeta, which is a nice way to mount stuff. So I got my Garmin up here, you know, and I just mount my dash stuff down there. Oh yeah, I put a bushing in here. It's a pretty big bushing, and it moves it forward so that it's not sitting right in front of the dash. So now I get a much clearer view of the dash. I did order a Serbi tank, but it didn't come in time, so I'm gonna have to do that on the next trip. I have the Rotopacks, the 1 gallon, and I have the water that I can put on the trailer. So yeah, I think we're almost there. We're gonna go ahead and put it back together and do a test ride and check out how the temperature, the trail tech works, and how the SpeedHealer works, because I can compare it with the Garmin. The Garmin is going to give me within a mile per hour what I'm traveling at. I don't think I've done anything more here except the power box. This is for my Garmin, but yeah, she's ready to go. So I'm running, this is my telemetry for the tire pressure. So I have 15 in the front and 20 in the back. What I really love about this system is that I can just, this is just held on with a GoPro mount. I can bring this thing off here. I can set this down, and then I can come in here, and so what I like about the system is I can just come in here and I can bleed off a little air, and then I can put this back on, and then it'll tell me what my pressure is. So we're at 19. I'm probably going to run these at 15-15 off-road. It's a very stiff tire, so I'll keep it at 19, and then I'll air it down. I want to see how she holds. So I'm running 15, 19 in the back, and we'll see how that works. So this just mounts right here. So I always have my telemetry, and I can move this and so on. And then, like I said, when I want to check the tires, I can just bring in. This is fairly accurate. I filled it up with the pump and checked it at 20, and it was showing 20 up here. So really like these. I do have one that's a three tire, and that way I can get the tire pressure off my trailer, but I don't know if I'll run that yet. But yeah, that's I do have some decals I'm going to be doing later. I'm going to do a different scheme, but I took all the existing ones off because I just don't like that whole CRF thing. This is an XR as far as I'm concerned, and then an XRL or an XL. You know, back I used to have a 250 XL and an XR 200 and a CR 250. But I really wish I had that CR 250. Man, I'd rebuild that sucker pristine. But yeah, there we go. So we're gonna go take it for a test ride and see how the new gearing goes and all the gadgets and stuff.